front headlock. Chin strap, wrist deep grip outside of the elbow. I take my wrist deep grip and I make a thumb post inside of my partner's elbow. My chin strap hand retracts out and swims palm up behind the neck, over the shoulder, and wrist deep behind the armpit. My toes curl under me if they're not already with my down knee. And now I'm going to lift my hips up off the ground and start swimming over his body. As I move, my head swims to the other side of his spine and my arm drapes down over his tailbone. From here, it is my choice whether I decide to go to a hip-to-hip position or to diagonal control on the body. We're gonna have lots of options from both of those. So from a front headlock position, these go behinds. So from a front headlock position, these go behinds happen a lot of different ways, but the most common way it comes up for me and presents itself is when I'm going for a front choke and my opponent reaches their hands in over my wrists and makes it hard for me to circle the neck. I don't generally go for low chokes where my wrists and hands finish a choke underneath of his body. It's easy to defend there. So if I get caught in that position, instead of fighting higher against all that resistance to get under the chin, I find that it's easier to just post the arm and go to the back. Finishes are easier there, escapes are harder. We'll have a lot more luck if we take better and better positions every time they throw up some resistance and some defense. So what I'm looking for a lot of times is those hands coming over top of my wrists. And when I feel that, it's just, this isn't a secure enough position that I'm gonna hang out here for long periods of time in a back and forth battle. The second I'm like hitting a wall, time to cut a corner and go down a different hallway. So as I'm in here, I feel those hands and it's like, this just isn't gonna work. So I'm gonna jam my thumb here. Reason being, I'm circling this way. I don't wanna run into this leg or this arm and have it catch a hold of either of my legs or my hips or anywhere else that it might go to hold me in position and maybe even set me down to my hip. So I jam this out. Now, I'm trying to get my whole body behind his elbow. That's like the first prerequisite of taking the back is getting outside and behind the elbow. My other arm's like latched around his head. And so if I move this way, I'm gonna drag his head with me. I'm gonna take it out and I slide, really discreet, like a little blade cutting through here, over the neck, over the shoulder, and then here. Once I'm here, I am wedged in nice and tight outside of the elbow. I have a clear shot with both of my arms and my whole body to move around to that angle. Now I just need to lift my knee off the floor so that I'm mobile. My head shifts so that as I walk around, I don't cram my spine up like a horseshoe. So my head swims to the other side so I can keep a straight, strong spine and have a heavy chest into the corner, the top corner of his ribs here. All right, I don't want to be resting just on top and not just pushing right in the side. I want to be heavy on this. Imagine he was a rectangle. Where would inner pressure right through the corner be? That's what I'm looking for. Okay, as my head swims to the other side, my arm drapes straight down the spine. From this type of position, one thing that people do a lot is try to roll to get away. I want to position myself in such a way that this arm is keeping him from turning back towards me, and this arm on the bottom is keeping my weight evenly distributed, so it makes it difficult for him to roll through in any type of meaningful way. From here, we move on to our diagonal control. We're back here on this back corner of the hip, angled off towards the opposite shoulder. And here we can go for power halves, we can go for seatbelt grips, there's claw grips from here, all kinds of fun things that we're gonna be messing with. But I'm positioned low back on this hip. When I come back here, I don't wanna be chasing chest to middle back or chest to upper back. I'm chest to like low back tramp stamp territory down here. I'm here. My knees are pinching in front of this near side hip and behind his far side hip. And I'm perched on my toes. These are just for balance. There's almost no weight on my toes. My weight is pinching through my knees and right here through my chest. And from here I can set up shallow grips that I can move forward into. And we'll be looking at those as we go to our back takes. Another position that we might wind up in at the end of our go behind is hip to hip on the side of our partner, where we would be basically knee to knee, shin to shin, our legs and hips kind of lined up so that I can lean into him. Like we talked about in our turtle intro, he's a table here. He wants to keep his balance and keep his legs under the tabletop. I'm leaning in from a corner, which is not the way tables are meant to carry weight. This compromises his base and gives me openings for things like our spiral ride that we'll be looking at in the next couple days, and all kinds of, in the gi, we have chokes that we can go for, lots of different opportunities for hitting different moves. I don't even know why I talked about the gi.